For more on the political fallout of Trump's guilty conviction, Laura Barone Lopez heard from Republican voters about how this impacts their thoughts on the former president and the upcoming election. Laura, good to see you.
Good to be here.
So you watched this focus group today with a group of voters the day after that guilty verdict. How were they reacting?
Amna, this focus group was of voters who voted for Donald Trump twice, in 2016 and in 2020. And they were slightly already a little souring on him, but some of them could have very well gone back to him. And it was conducted by a group run by Republican strategist Sarah Longwell. And so after this verdict, they said about 6 of them, there were 9 total, about 6 of those voters said that the fact that these were felonies that Trump was convicted of carried more weight for them than if they had been misdemeanors. And out of those 9 voters, 5 of them said that this made them less likely to support Donald Trump, including 52-year-old Michelle from Florida.
I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the nonsense. And I believed the testimony. And that is why I am happy that the jury found him guilty. And I think also now that he is a convicted felon, he's completely unfit. He can't pass a basic security clearance at this point. I'm not sure if he can vote in Florida. He may not be allowed to go to different countries as a felon. This is not appropriate. Knock it off, Republicans. Find somebody else.
And Michelle, that voter, Amna, Michelle, she had voted for Republicans her entire life, voted for Trump twice. But this verdict carried a lot of weight with her. It carried a lot of weight with a number of the other voters who also, some of them raised January 6th as something, the insurrection as something that had started to convince them that they maybe couldn't vote for Trump again.
So Michelle from Florida, less likely to vote for him as a result of the verdict. Was anyone pushed further towards Mr. Trump as a result of the verdict? 1
out of the 9 voters in this focus group said that this verdict made him more likely to support Donald Trump, and that's Mark, 54, from from Georgia, and he called it a sham trial.
It's a double standard. It was a politicized prosecution. It was the elevation of what are misdemeanors and the felonies just for political purposes.
And the voters were also asked whether or not this verdict made them trust the justice system more, trust the justice system left, or it didn't change their mind. And 3 of them said that it made them trust the justice system more. Most said it didn't change how they viewed the system. Mark, who we just heard from in Georgia, said that it made him not trust the justice system as much. But as for whether or not they thought that Donald Trump should go to jail, Valerie, 64, also from Georgia, had a very strong response to that.
He should serve jail time. Pay the penalty for the crime. We all know what's going to happen. They're going to negotiate and renegotiate. And I mean, he's not going to serve any time, but he'll get more time on television right here at election time.
And at the end of the day, they were asked, you know, if you had to pick between President Biden or Donald Trump, who would you pick come November? And roughly 6 of them said that they would vote for Joe Biden. 1, Mark, who we heard from, said that he would vote for Trump. And 1 to 2 of them were basically unsure or said that they may not vote.
Fascinating insight there. Laura, as you know, and we heard earlier, Mr. Trump also continued his attacks on the judge in this case, Judge Merchan. And in the last 24 hours, we have now seen Republicans relentlessly attacking the judge's daughter, the judicial system. What is the impact of all of that rhetoric?
Well, we're starting to see some direct impact, Amna, because as you noted, a lot of Republicans, in addition to Donald Trump, have said that tried to sow doubt about the justice system, have directly attacked the judge in this case. And I was working with Advanced Democracy, a nonprofit investigative group that tracks far-right social media, and provided us an early look at data that they've been gathering since the verdict came out yesterday. And they were tracking social media across X, formerly known as Twitter, Telegram, Truth Social, that's Trump's social media site, and they found an increase in calls for violence and violent rhetoric. They also found an increase in calls to dox jurors and to dox the judges. And here are some examples. on Telegram, one posted, "Hang the judge for corruption." On a site called Patriots Win, another follower said, "Someone in New York with nothing to lose needs to take care of Judge Merchan. Hopefully he gets met with illegals and a machete." And then another one posted, "We need the judge's address along with his daughters, and we will be peacefully protesting, but ultimately the gloves are off, and do your duty." Now, posting these on Telegram, Amna, that is a website that is also used by Proud Boys. The Proud Boys were at January 6th. So overall, there has been an increase in calls for violence, an increase in calls for doxing, and potentially it appears that one user may have actually doxed a juror, but they're still trying to verify whether or not it's that juror's address.
Laura Barone Lopez, great reporting as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.